to share your experience and from home with us.
Thank you.
15 to 20 minutes.
Lovely. All right.
Thank you.
Will you give me a nudge?
Yeah,
Because
I'll
I
do
go on and on. Yeah,
I'll do that.
because I really do go on and
I'll
on.
read hand gesture.
That's all right. That's cool. My name's Lindsay and I'm an addict.
Hi.
Oh, it's really nice to be here. Thank you, Leah, for asking me to come and share. I just met you the other day and I love you already. And I haven't been to treatment. It's like in treatment, it's like I've worked in treatment and it's like people are best friends within 24 hours and it just reminds me of being a child, you know, and then they fall out and they're back together and it just reminds me of being a kid. I think, that was, you know, I'm an addict and part of that is I never fucking grew up. I just never grew up. I didn't know how to grow up. No one showed me how to grow up. And I had the illness of addiction. And I can't really read this because it's like, oh look, it's all dropping all over the floor. But this is my basic text. And it's, I didn't know how, no, it's fine. I didn't know how to do stuff. I just didn't know how to do stuff until I got here. And one of the things it says in here that I was going to talk about is that when I got here, I didn't have to understand the program. I just needed to be able to follow direction. And it says that in our, God, I can't even read that. I haven't got any bloody glasses on either. Fuck you, now. That's me all over. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. No, but thank you. It's in the chapter We Do Recover, and it says it here. We're not responsible for our disease, only for our recovery. We do not have to understand this program for it to work. All we have to do is follow direction, and that's really important for me because when I got here, I thought calling yourself an addict was just a complete cop out. It's like, oh, I'm an addict. Yeah, right. You know, and it took me a good year to start realising that I still didn't think I had an illness for a very long time, but it took me a year to start realising that my thinking was obsessive, because I'd been so used to living with it my whole life. You know, it's like as a child, I'd like run upstairs to my bedroom, right, knowing exactly what I was going to do. And then because my obsessive thinking would leap in somewhere or another, I'd get to my bedroom and go, what the fuck, what am I here for? And my mother was always saying to me, retrace your steps, you know, which is so apt really for how I live today. You know, and that was me all over. I've had this disease all my life. And it's not something that was triggered because I used drugs. In fact, drugs were my solution for a very, very long time because they helped settle me. They helped slow my thinking down. There was all sorts of great reasons why I should use drugs, you know. And that obsessive thinking. And the obsessive thinking, because I didn't realise I had that, when I got here, because you can't, for me, when I say you, I'm talking about me, by the way, you can't think yourself well. I couldn't sit at home on my sofa and think myself well. You know, I've like recently for another issue, I've had CBT like a couple of years ago. I couldn't fucking get to grips with it. I cannot think myself well around anything. I can't put my thoughts forward and then, yes, this is what I'm going to do. No. I have to act myself well and forget about what's going on between my ears. And that's been genuinely my experience. And I really, when I got here, I didn't know that. All I knew was that I was in a lot of pain. I'd come from a really shit time, an awful long shit time. was using drugs constantly, consistently from a very early age. I don't even know how early. Yeah, and I didn't fucking know how to live. I knew that other people knew how to live, and I tried to be very functional. I think one of the things that helped with that is I grew up in, my father was a commander in the US Navy, and so that kind of like, we do our shoes on a Sunday night, you know, it's very regimented, really regimented, and I think that for some of my addictive behaviours was actually really fucking helpful. But it's something that in recovery I've had to come away from. You know, any kind of program working for me that's all military style, and believe you me, I've done it, and I felt very comfortable with it. But it was like, it just spiritually for me, it just didn't do it for me. I had to start to relax. I had to start to, you know, let go of my perfectionism and relax into my recovery and go, you know what, I'm not fucking perfect. I'm a human being that makes mistakes. And luckily, I've got a 12-step program that I've got corrective parts in those steps that I can be all right again, you know. Yeah, I talked about the obsessive thinking, and what happens for me is that I still have obsessive thinking. It's definitely toned down a lot. I definitely don't have radio addict, what I used to call radio addict in my head so much. Because I've worked the 12 steps and I've made all my amends, and now what I have to do is just make amends as I'm going along. Because I'm never going to be perfect, I'm always going to make mistakes, I'm always going to have to make amends. And this has shown me how to do it in a really loving, caring way, not only towards myself, but towards other people. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's given me so much freedom. Because if you know, just an example, I was at work, there was this guy who I was working with who's also in recovery, he's an absolute dick. And anyway, I don't know, I got irritated with him and I was irritated, and then I went off into the coffee room to make a cuppa, and inside myself I knew that I hadn't acted appropriately, and I felt bad, and so I sort of like went through what I've got this kind of like program where I can work through my steps really incredibly quickly and kind of identify what I'm powerless over, how it makes me unmanageable, you know, the insanity that goes on in my head and my thinking. It's like, well, how am I going to relieve that? You know, turning people over to God is so fucking important. It's like, God, take them. They're a fucking moron. You can handle them, I can't. And that's my prayer, you know, in a nutshell. And you know, and it's like, and I go through the steps like this. I work a step 4 and a step 5, you know. It's like, you know, my step 4 is I felt this when they did that, what a prick they were. But it's not about taking their inventory. But it made me feel this. And what is my part? My part is I was intolerant, I was impatient, and all that stuff. And you know, and then identifying my defects of character. You know, intolerance, impatience. Then kind of like, you know, knowing where it kind of hits me in my body. Because I don't know about you guys, but my feelings and my body are so connected. You know, I get it driving, even driving here, someone almost like, you know how they just veer like that into you? It's like I felt fear. It's like, it's not in my head, it's in my body. So identifying all that stuff and knowing as well, there's a lot of stuff that I reenact, fear-wise. I reenact stuff from my childhood it's been implanted and programmed in my childhood, and I've had to unprogram a lot of that stuff, and that's 6 and 7 for me, and set boundaries. You know, if I feel irritated around, you know, my mum when I talk on the phone, maybe I should only talk for 10 minutes. not half an hour, you know, or like a sponsee the other week, 2 hours. And it was like, by the end of it, I was like, you know what, I can't fucking help you. It's like, what do you want from me, you know? But my part was I was on the phone for too fucking long. I should have just said, go to a meeting and share about it, you know? Call your girlfriends, you know? So yeah, this guy, it's like, you know, I identified all that stuff, and I went back in there and I went, you know what, I'm really sorry, my attitude was really out of sorts, you know, and I endeavoured to try not to do that, and he hadn't really taken any notice because he's, you know, a bonker. But it was for me that I do that stuff. It's for me, because otherwise I'd go around the whole shift, I'd be kind of thinking, oh God, because I'm such a sensitive little bunny. It's like I really take things like personally, and I'm kind of like, yeah, it gets stuck in my head. Things get stuck in my head. So yeah, realising that I do actually have a mental health issue. I do actually have a mental health issue. I'm mentally ill. I'm never going to be cured, okay? But I can get treatment, you know, and treatment, a lot of the treatment has been here. I've had outside help with other stuff, gone to other fellowships, that's outside help to me. It's not inside help, that's for sure. Whatever I haven't been able to get in NA, I've got somewhere else. But that's my step 9 towards myself. It's like, you know, what does it say? Something about when you've got your legal problems, turn them over to lawyers and all that stuff. Well, I've been bankrupt, I've had to go to Citizens Advice Bureau. I didn't know what to do. They helped me go through the bankruptcy process. You know, there's all those sort of things that I don't fucking know what to do, you know. But it is about following direction. It's so fucking easy. When I don't do it my way, it is so easy. I must say, today, I'm just like, I'm so grateful for the life I've got. And I've come out of employment now. I actually worked for 30 years. You know, I brought up a child single-handedly. You know, I wasn't someone that just sat around and took drugs. I was someone that had to take drugs and was very unmanageable. And now I'm working on, you know, being a benefits scrounger. And it's fucking great. I absolutely love it. Because it's like, you know what? Whatever, you know, whether you're Buddhist, Christian, all that stuff, and whatever belief you might have about where you go afterwards, and blah, blah, blah. Who fucking gives a shit about that? I've got today, I'm here right now, and I need to enjoy my life. You know, I need to enjoy it. And I'm not saying that I've given to society, I've given an awful lot, I've given too much to the point where it's triggered another illness that I've got. And so now it's about looking after me. You know, if I don't look after myself, I certainly can't look after others. I don't know whether anybody's heard this, especially if you're a newcomer. It's like, put your own mask on first. You know, like when you're on the aeroplane, I've never actually had it happen, but when you're on the aeroplane they say, look, put your own mask on first, oxygen mask, then help somebody else with theirs. You know, and again, I wouldn't have realised that. I'm not saying that people can't help other people in early days, but it's really important to kind of not kind of go out on the, well, this was my experience. It's like I was so codependent, and you know, any commitment that came along, and they went, yeah, Lindsay, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, we'll do, you know, ended up with like 4 commitments in the first like 2 months. Became really unmanageable with a full-time job and bringing up a single child, or whatever, the other way around. And, you know, my sponsor said to me, no, 2 commitments. You can do 4 commitments really badly, or 2 commitments really well. You know. Why do I keep coming back? I'm 15 years. Thank you. Thank you. And I will put my head up and go, yeah. Because I'm really proud of that. Why do I keep coming back? I keep coming back because of things like, there was a newcomer that I heard at my home group on Thursday, and she described exactly how I felt when I first got clean. And it is a huge reminder of where I've actually come from. Because the measure of me, sometimes, especially if I'm ungrateful, which isn't hardly ever anymore, it's like, I can kind of like go, oh, I'm not doing well enough, I'm not, you know, it's like, and I look back through the 15 years and I think, fucking hell, you've done really well. You've done really, really well. You're still alive, for God's sakes. You know, I've wanted to kill myself in recovery. I've, as I say, gone bankrupt. I've kind of like, it's just, you know, I had to kick my son out on the, you know, basically, and he went to his dad's social services. I had to kick him out because he was like using in my flat. And, you know, there's all sorts of fucking madness. I've sat by his bed while he's overdosed. You know, with his heart rate going at 160 miles an hour. I've been to the police station to pick him up. You know, there's all these things that I've had to do in recovery that have actually been really fucking challenging. Really challenging. But I've been alright. I haven't picked up. I felt like picking up at points. And I've stayed clean a day at a time for 15 fucking years. I couldn't even get 15 minutes. I couldn't even get a minute. I'd be like smoking a joint and rolling the next one. You know? You know, and I never even dreamed about getting clean. I never even dreamed about it. I actually thought that I was going to be somebody that, this was my imagination, was that I'd have like, you know, because as I say, like half of my family's from America, and it's kind of like, I just imagined having one of those rocking chairs as an old lady with my hair up in a bun and it's all white, and I'm still smoking a joint. It's kind of, I really, really thought that that's how it was going to go, and yeah, it came to NA, and that just completely demolished that. Now, I don't want to be old, ever. And I don't have to be. I've learned, when I was talking about the being the child, you know, for me, it's like, I'm still a child, but I have let go of a lot of the childish things and childish attitudes and childish reactions and what have you. But I still like having a laugh. You know, I was on my way over here with my husband, and we're listening to something FM. I don't even fucking you know, and we're doing this in the car. You know, it's like, I love all that stuff. That's the stuff that brings me absolute joy. It's like, what a laugh. You know, one of my issues. Is that me? One of my issues was that I took myself far too seriously, and I can still do it. I can still do it, but I have a laugh. You know, almost every day I have an absolute I have a laugh. Can't take anything seriously. We find it really difficult to have a row. Really, really difficult, because one person will be going and the other person's going. It's just mad, and I've been with this person for almost 12 years. We've been married for almost 5 years. It's like, what the fuck happened there? Love my life, absolutely love it. How long have I got, darling?
You've got 19 seconds.
Oh, okay. Love my life. Love having my grandchildren over. Love that. Love being on the Xbox with them. Love just everything about her is just. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, is that another one? It's not back on video.
Naughty girl. And yeah, everything's changed. It's like with my granddaughter when she comes over, the 7-year-old, because there's the 3-year-old and we don't have her. But it's just so lovely to kind of sit there, watch a movie, or do some colouring in, or whatever it is, and just be, use that ability to be a child with her. And she so loves me. It's like the other week when she came over, it's like she woke up, she came into my bedroom, and she was kind of like, I was on my iPad already, because I sleep with my iPad. I don't sleep with my husband. And I was on the iPad, and she's like, I'll go and get my iPad. And because I'd already called my husband and said, can you bring me a cup of tea? Because we do FaceTime, even though we're in the same house. And she was like, should we just FaceTime Granddad? He can get my iPad. And then she climbed into bed with me, gave her a cushion, she leaned back like this, on her iPad, and I'm on my iPad, and isn't life fucking great? Yeah. Isn't it great? I love my life today. Just lastly, but not leastly, this is a spiritual program, okay? And for me, it's been about getting in touch with my spirit. Because when we die, when I die, I'm assuming my spirit leaves my body. I've got this lovely little spirit in here that just wants to have fun, that just wants to smile and laugh and be happy, joyous and free. And I really feel like I've got a lot of that. And that's all I really want. I just want my little spirit to be happy. When you just want to jump up and go, yay! I love it. I absolutely love it. And it is about feeding my spirit good things, happy things, silly things, loving things. And using this program, which if you don't know about the program, keep coming back and you'll soon find out. Love it. Love being clean. I'm so grateful. You're such a wonderful, wonderful person. You're a special spirit.
Thank you.
There's a lot of special spirits here, but I don't know all of you. I'm sorry. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Vera Longanade.
Hi.